Hello everyone, welcome to What's Happening in Brazil. Let's start with the latest news from the country.
Manaus, the state capital of Amazonas, is going through its worst floods in more than 100 years, and the streets have been taken over by water. The mayor's office had to construct overpasses so that pedestrians could circulate around the city. More than 455,000 people have been affected by the floods all over the state. The strong rains, which have been happening since the start of the year, are partly to blame by the La Niña phenomena. Manaus is also going through a wave of violence, with buses, police vehicles, and even homes being set on fire. The attacks are retaliation by organized crime. On June 5th, the head of the criminal faction that controls drug trafficking in the city was killed by police. Businesses, schools, and public services, including those providing vaccination against COVID-19, had to be halted for 48 hours due to the lack of security. The federal government has sent military to try and stem the attacks. A 24-year-old black woman who was 4 months pregnant died during a shootout between policemen and criminals in the city of Rio de Janeiro. Kathleen Romeu was shot in the head during the confrontation, which took place on the 8th of June. The death led to a series of protests on social media against the public safety policies implemented by the city of Rio de Janeiro. Police operations that result in the deaths of civilians, who are mainly black and shantytown dwellers, are common in the state. According to the Fogo Cruzado or Crossfire platform, which gathers data on public safety, almost half of the women shot in the Rio de Janeiro metropolitan area were victims of stray bullets.
Federal Police's Lava Jato anti-corruption operation was established in 2014, supposedly to investigate cases of corruption involving state-owned oil company Petrobras. However, the operation was marred by controversial episodes, like the arrest of former President Lula and political use of the law by former Judge Sérgio Moro. In the city of Rio de Janeiro, the Lava Jato task force left behind another problematic legacy: unemployment.
Located near the Rio de Janeiro port, until recently the Caju neighborhood had the highest concentration of ship docks in the entire city. Due to the Lava Jato operation, contracts with Petrobras were voided, and for the most part, companies ended their operations, leading to a wave of unemployment.
Era movimento enorme.
There was a lot of movement in Caju. Businesses were all open. Street sellers selling pastries, coconut candy, selling sodas. Thus, everyone made money here. Today is abandoned.
A empresa, ela não pode.
The companies shouldn't be punished. Their directors should. If they stole, if they misappropriated funds, these guys have to be punished. They haven't been punished to this day. The employee was punished.
A naval brasileira, praticamente extinta nos anos 1990, vive hoje um momento grandioso. Emprega 78 mil trabalhadores distribuídos em diversas regiões do país.
A Polícia Federal deflagrou hoje a 7ª fase da Operação Lava Jato.
Trabalhadores de um dos estaleiros mais antigos do Brasil fazem uma manifestação hoje. Nos últimos dias, cerca de 1.000 pessoas foram demitidas e o sindicato teme que mais 2.000 fiquem sem emprego.
The Lula and Dilma administration put Petrobras at the forefront of the national industrial development. The entire mobilization strategy of the local industry was linked to Petrobras, the oil, gas, and heavy construction sectors.
In the 2 years between 2014 and 2016, the number of jobs in the naval sector dropped from 71,500 to 40,200, according to data from the labor registry.
Eu tô fora do mercado de trabalho.
I have been out of the job market since 2016. I'm a naval mechanics technician. Today I work as an Uber. On the docks, sometimes my salary was 9,000 reais. Today, there are months in which I don't even take 800 reais home.
So that jobs come back to the region, former employees joined forces with businessmen and created a project to revamp the naval industry.
O sonho estaria naval.
Working the docks is in our blood. For us, steel workers, yes, we dream of going back. It's what I enjoy working with most in my life. Docks and ships.
For the indigenous peoples of Brazil, music is part of their daily rituals. However, it can also be a tool of protest. We'll now meet a rapper and a heavy metal band that highlight indigenous culture and struggle.
During the opening ceremony of the 2014 World Cup, hosted by Brazil, An indigenous boy of just 13 was able to sidestep security and unfold a protest banner demanding the demarcation of indigenous lands. He was Verá de Goca Mirim from São Paulo. A wish to broadcast the struggles of the native populations to the world led the young man to become a rapper known as Kunumi MC.
We say that the struggle of the indigenous is of one nature. It's a cause that applies to all. The media doesn't want to give indigenous people a voice, so we decided to use rap in order to be heard.
Terra, ar, mar, mais. Terra, ar.
Kunumi labels his style of rap as native. It's a mixture of rap beats with the sacred chants of his people, the Guarani Mbiá.
Rap is a genre that comes from black people. So the natives discovered rap because they liked it a lot, but they didn't pick rap up for no reason. It's rap with a nuance. We are speaking of a reality no one knows about yet, a certain history, calling on the ancestors, talking about nature.
Nature, ancestrality, and the sacred are also central themes found in the music of the Arandu Aracuá band, which hails from the country's capital, Brasilia. The band's name comes from the ancient Tupi tongue and means to know of the cosmos. Active for more than 10 years, they are the first band to sing in the ancient Tupi, Xerente, and Xavante languages.
We defend the native peoples, we defend nature. Even though most people don't understand indigenous tongues, they will feel and perceive. There's that notion that music transcends barriers and different languages, and anyone in the world can have a connection and feel it without necessarily know what the lyrics are saying.
Besides instruments traditionally belonging to heavy metal, such as guitar, bass, and drums, the band also utilizes the redneck guitar, as well as indigenous instruments like whistles, flutes, and rattles, creating an experimental sound.
The channels which we speak through are totally different than, for example, those used by indigenous leaders who are on the front lines, who are in the villages. I'm an artist, so we contribute in a different way.
And now it's time for Brazilianese.
Today's recipe involves reusing rice. Rice mixed with eggs, mashed zucchini and lemon vine. Delicious and only takes 5 minutes to make. I'll start with the butter. Long grain needle rice hardens after it cools, so every time you'd like to reuse it, it's important to heat it up with some water so as to hydrate the grains, so it goes back to being soft as if it were new. I'm gonna gather the chive stems. I could grate the zucchini, but want to share a technique from way back, something that my grandma used to do. Mash the zucchini with a knife, as if it were grated. The texture comes out different and evokes a bunch of fond memories. I'll add a bit of salt. For those who don't know, this leaf is a lemon vine. It's a non-conventional food plant. It's super rich in iron and in proteins and often used in food from the state of Minas Gerais. Everything is really warm, we still have humidity, and now the secret comes into play. I'm going to turn the heat off and put the eggs in. They'll cook in with the pan's residual heat. The idea is to make creamy rice, so we stir it real quick so the eggs don't coagulate. Now I put the grated cheese in, and it's ready. That's it.
Liked the show, so hit the like button and share with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive notifications. We'll see you next week.